chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets. So there's a lot of things to cover in the NFL, but this is really the most pressing issue. Al, would you like to have a beer with Doug Peterson at the Landing in Jacksonville? So say you're at the Landing in Jacksonville, there's like one smoky, like Dick's Last Resort that's open, and Doug Peterson sitting there to have a beer. Would you sit down next to him and throw a cold one or two back?
So I absolutely would, but the Landing doesn't exist anymore. RIP the Landing. But they replaced it with a big green grass field. But they're supposedly going to have like a beer garden vendors set up eventually. So yes, I would love to stroll by the river in the grass, holding hands with Doug Peterson, with a beer and a lollipop or an ice cream cone.
Yeah, Doug Peterson seems like a decent person to have a beer with. A lot of NFL coaches, I'm kind of on the fence about, but I could definitely drink a beer with Doug Peterson. So maybe we should work.
I feel
out
like
this.
most coaches that get a second job in the NFL, you'd probably have a beer with.
Most coaches, you get a second job.
You think we're
Josh
all attracted to
McDaniels.
success?
Oh shit!
Josh
No,
McDaniels has more than one head
you
coach
proved me
job.
wrong big time right there. I do not want to have a beer with Josh McDaniels.
Well, would you drink a beer with Riverboat Ron?
Hell yes, I would.
Carolina?
I would like to have a beer with Riverboat Ron. I would mostly like to gamble with Riverboat Ron because I feel like he's going to have a system on roulette that's not going to work.
Oh hell no, definitely not. He's like black wins every time. Like,
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be the most expensive free beer you ever drank.
Who let's try Sean McVay. Would you like to drink a beer with Sean McVay? I don't think so. I think it would be.
I
wanna
think with
be
Sean
near
McVay,
him.
I'd like to drink a tequila with a splash of lime on the rocks, and like a fancy something. I feel like he's that kind of guy.
He seems to me like even at his most relaxed, he's still too high stress, like too high strung for me.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I definitely disagree with that. I feel like the thing is that like if he was away from the team, he wants to be with the family, and he would just give zero fucks about me and like wanting to have a good time.
So I'm going to throw this out there. This is not well thought out. I just came up with it. But have you guys ever heard the theory that if you're a dad and you're in really great shape, you're probably a shitty dad? Because there's just not enough time in the day to like work and be a good dad and spend that much time at the gym. I kind of wonder about like football coaches, right? Like being an NFL head coach takes so much
caveat
time.
to that, if you're independently wealthy, you have time.
Yeah, that's different. But being a head football coach in the NFL takes so much time that if you're in crazy good shape, like you're spending your only free time in the gym, and like that's just not the guy I'm gonna have a beer with.
Wait, is this why Marcus Freeman's failing at Notre Dame?
Probably the man needs to read a book, or
like he's not putting enough time into coaching. He's putting too much time into working out.
Exactly.
I kind of tuned out for a second because when you guys talked about dads not having enough time to work, be a dad, and work out, and Danny was like, if you're independently wealthy, then it works. And I immediately thought, yeah, if you don't have a job, then you can be a good dad. I was like, no, I was picturing like really jacked homeless people that are like great dads. And I'm like, so sorry. I totally derailed this, but it's been a fun thought.
So they were like smelly and don't shower. You saw like the like smelly lines coming off of them that you would see in cartoons.
But then, they gentle parent and they like can bench 350.
So if we're saying you can only have two of the three, I think we know which two we all picked, right? Like,
yeah,
a home.
Yeah, I'm a terrible parent. Terrible.
But check out these abs.
Yeah, look at these abs, baby.
Camera only, shoulders up.
Yes.
I mean, I had to give up sleep to exercise, but I just like sleep so much.
And I'm not saying you can't exercise. I'm saying if you look like you could be on the cover of GQ, like
I gotta tell you, I do have some friends that I are in pretty good shape that I think are good dads, and they tend to be lawyers.
Oh, interesting. It's obviously a generalization. I'm sure there are plenty of great dads that are in good shape. But in general,
started their career and their fatherhood in good shape, though. They did not they weren't like iffy. They weren't like the
On
tweeners.
the
Kind of like
fence.
we were all kind of like, we were like getting close. We had dad bods before we were dads.
Yeah.
We were warming up for the position.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
We're
To-
working out
to-
to get back to dad bod status.
And to Andy's point,
That's
there's
one.
probably many professional athletes who are very good dads. And usually
Yeah.
professional athletes are in very good shape.
That's true too.
Yeah. Except for
So-
baseball players.
Yeah, no, that's true. They're great dads. They're excellent dads.
Well, they're more like kid friends. They're like big brothers to their.
Wait,
Yeah.
let's flip Matt's question though to get back to it on its heads. Who would you least want to have a beer with as an NFL coach?
I mean,
Josh
Josh McDaniels was
McDaniels.
a good one. Andy brought up.
He's awful. I don't
You know,
want
I don't think he'd be in like my bottom 5, but like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to, but he's not like terrible. I don't think.
I feel like anybody in the Belichick coaching tree, I do not want to have a beer with. So,
Yeah.
my number one that I don't want to have a beer with. He's not a head coach now, but Matt Patricia. I don't want to. I don't want to hang out with.
He's
Yeah.
Pete Carroll's in the Belichick coaching tree, right? He's.
Yeah,
I'd have a
It's
beer with
not
him.
really. He's like Belichick adjacent.
Gotcha.
Yeah. They're like
So-
brothers. I don't know.
I think they were like in Cleveland together, so it doesn't really count.
But if he
I have-
is, then that breaks it.
I have an answer that will shock and amaze all of you, and it is Mike McDaniel.
Oh no.
And it is not because I wouldn't want to have a beer with him. It's because after a certain number of beers, I do not trust myself to not ask him about his race.
Oh,
It's gonna
I
come
thought
up.
you were going to say because you're going to ask him to vape. Did I think
Oh,
That too.
I thought you were gonna ask him to like sleep with you.
Kiss.
Mike McDaniel famously gave up drinking a few years back. So
He did.
yeah.
But
Oh.
but 12 beer Andy is going to ask him like
He would definitely be out there. Like he'd
Really?
definitely be out there at the bar with you. Not totally not vaping, totally not vaping, and
Definitely
having
not.
a chat. But yeah, I definitely want to go hang out with Mike McDaniel. I don't know if beer would need to round of golf or something.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I totally don't drink when I golf.
No, you shouldn't. You got to focus on your score.
Yeah,
Um,
I gotta keep shooting those 120s.
Yeah, the 120s don't come natural.
Hey,
baby.
116. Don't sell
That's
yourself
right. My
short.
last round
Don't
was
sell
116.
yourself short.
Oh.
Would
Yeah.
you drink with Bill
Splash.
Belichick?
I would love a beer with Bill Belichick. Actually, he's supposedly sneaky funny. Everybody's ever played for him likes him and respects him a lot, and I'd love to just like talk football with him.
But is that what drinking a beer is? Talking
A lot of
football?
times, man. I've gone and had a beer with George, and we do nothing but talk.
Yeah,
his
but
football team.
you can also talk to George about nonsense. That's the beauty of talking to George.
we're literally doing it right now.
Yeah.
Cheers, boys.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Welcome to ChuggieBets.
It's time to chug a beer.
Let's
Yeah,
go to
I wouldn't want to have a beer with Bill Belichick if all we're gonna do is sit there and talk about football.
It's probably he'd rather talk about something else. Like, probably rather talk about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, see, that makes it cool, right? Now I'm intrigued by the whole Taylor Swift thing, and that's Travis Kelce's best catch ever. Like, okay, I can fuck with that joke. It's a bad one, but I appreciate you putting it out there and showing you're a human being.
He's the most famous person who's made it.
Yeah, it's a good dad joke. He's got a terrible body. He's probably a great father. You know,
He did give us him a job.
Belichick famously has kept his son on staff forever, right?
I know he's a good dad. He's a good dad. That. Sorry, now I'm just thinking of Illinois.
It hasn't put him in a
That's
position
okay.
like it hasn't put him in a position like other father coaches where like he knows his son isn't good enough, but I'm going to make him offensive coordinator anyway, and then not
Doesn't
like
he have, doesn't he
like
have
a Rick.
2 sons on his coaching staff?
I think he might. The Ferences are just out here catching strays, though.
Oh man, nepo
Yeah.
babies everywhere.
You
Gotta
know,
get them.
Thinking about like siblings on a coaching staff just made me think of the Ryan brothers, and I would be totally down to have a beer with the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Rex and Rob, Ryan.
I
You're
just like
gonna-
Rex from his time with the Jets.
More Rob than Rex, but I would definitely hang out with both of them
You're not going to a good bar with Rex. Like,
Dude.
you are going to the seediest, like, hole in the
I don't know
wall.
if Rob goes to bars. I think he just hangs out in the van.
No, I was gonna say Rob for sure has like a trailer on the beach, like Lethal Weapon style.
Rex is trying to call prostitutes at the end of the night for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
He's like, hey,
Rex,
women?
Rex is still married to the woman whose feet he loves so
Yeah,
much.
but he's still getting kicked
know.
out for grabbing like asses.
That's all right.
Just blindly
you're
grabbing
you're
asses.
thinking
Mostly
of Urban
dudes.
Meyer.
Ooh.
Well,
You're getting them mixed up.
Oh, least
he
if,
grabs front
if we're talking
asses.
all-time coaches I least want to have a beer with, Urban Meyer is like top 2.
Yeah, I don't
Wow.
want to talk to that man.
I'm only saying not top 1 because I can't think of one off the spot that I want more. But like he can't be number 1. But he
You
might
forgot
be
about
number
Coach Hitler. He's number 1 of the bullet, Danny. But Urban Meyer's
So-
number 2.
My only argument with talking about Urban Meyer is I want him to drink enough to tell me what really happened in Florida, because there's some crazy shit that happened. If I can get him past the point where he'll like unveil a little bit, I'm not gonna write an expose.
You know he's not going to go there
No.
though. As soon as you get him a little drunk, he's not even going to talk to you anymore. He's going to be trying to finger the girl next to you.
That's true.
Yeah, if I was going to ask him a question, I'd want to know more about that interview that he was giving on his boat, where there was like a topless dude walking in, like about to like do a line of coke, and he was like, that would be the moment I asked him about.
I mean, I can tell you what was going on there.
They were doing coke. That's,
Yeah,
that's
it's
a pretty
like,
short
we
story.
did
Yeah.
coke. Well,
Yeah,
So they wanted to
not
drink a
great
lot out.
investigative journalist.
They also wanted to stay awake for a long time so they could drink more.
All right, let's make some picks.
So we did awesome last week, by the way, boys.
Yeah.
As a squad
hell yeah.
in week 6, we went 19-10, taking our record to just a crazy number in the NFL. We're 114, 72-2,
Whew.
which
God,
is
Al, your record is just
ridiculous. But as far as last week is concerned, Andy had the worst record with 1 game over 500. Danny had the second worst record at 2 games over 500 and won a chuggy bet. Al
yeah,
had-
but overall I was 11-4 on the week, so I'll take my
Dude,
worst record.
That's
I'm
good.
not besmirching. I'm just saying how great the record was, and I'm trying to get to myself being the winner. So back the hell off.
I'm just saying, man of the week, 11-4.
I agree.
Best
I agree.
record of
You
the
put
week.
up stats.
Yeah.
You put up stats. Al 5-2 and myself 5-1. 3 chuggy bets for Danny, myself, and Al. Andy is the lone man not getting a chuggy bet, but hey,
He's gonna have
kudos,
to drink a
boys.
lot.
Nicely damn done. Not an incredibly remarkable week from the NFL, but something that was interesting is there were 2 undefeated teams when the week started, and there are 0 left. You know, Mercury Morris is somewhere popping champagne. Larry Zonka's doing funnels, and
How many
it's
of
a
those
good
dudes
week
are
for the
still alive?
I don't even know. I could have said 2 dead guys right there. Larry Zonka did die, maybe.
Don Shula.
Don
No.
Shula got the coke.
Definitely.
I would have guessed that Butkus would have outlived Zonk, but turns out.
Yeah.
Dick
Mercury
Butkus.
Morris gonna outlive them all.
Legendary name. Is there a better name in sports history than Dick Butkus? Like
He's this close. He's a little better than Dick Pole, but it's like Dick Butkus, Dick Pole. Those are the 1 and 2 with a bullet.
yeah. Yeah, that is number 1 and 2. Number 2 for sure.
Dick Butkus should have been number 2. Yeah.
But the aftermath of the champagne bath is that San Francisco is no longer undefeated and Philadelphia is no longer undefeated. And it's kind of an interesting combination, right? With San Francisco losing to Cleveland without Deshaun Watson and Philly losing to the Jets without Aaron Rodgers or like what you would even deem as an offense. So which of those were most surprising to you, Andy?
I don't know. That's a great question. The Eagles, I think, was a little bit more surprising just because they were winning the whole game. I actually didn't see the end of it. They were up, and I just thought, like, oh, they're going to win, right? And then I got the score later, and I was like, holy shit. Like, actually, Joey texted in the group and said, fuck the Eagles. I thought he was mad because the Jets lost. It wasn't until like 2 hours after that I checked the score, and I was like, oh, he's saying fuck the Eagles because they beat him. Like, wow. Good for them.
Yeah. Danny, any thoughts here? Anyone more surprising than the other?
Not really. No, I'm mostly just munching on my goldfish.
Fair enough. Al, you got anything for me?
Yeah, I'd say the 49ers loss is a little more surprising because they had it sort of in the bag. They turned it over late, and that's how they ended up losing. And the Eagles, I think, have looked exceptionally beatable in almost every game they've played. So
Yeah.
Not true. That's not true. I gotta pull up their games here. Come on. Al says these things, then we got to check him because he's like, they're beatable, but then they also won like 3 games by 30 points.
So
they
as a
beat the
player,
Patriots by 5. They beat the Vikings by 6. They beat the Bucks by 2 touchdowns. They beat the Commanders by a field goal. They beat the Rams by 9.
Okay, so they didn't look beatable in 2 of the 3 games. 2 of the 5 games.
If you're solely scoreboard watching, you're correct.
Oh, beat that one, Dano.
Solely scoreboard watching, where they beat a really good team, the Rams, by 2 scores.
But I was surprised the most by San Francisco. I know Cleveland, clearly Cleveland's defense is the truth, like impressively so. But San Francisco has 184 points on the season, which is second best, and given up 87 points on the season, which is second best, I think.
Yeah,
as well,
turns
right?
out if you have the best defense in the league, all you really need to do is not turn the ball over to be competitive.
It's amazing, right? It's a pretty simple game at the end of the day.
Somebody should tell Cleveland that.
That's what I'm saying.
You guys want to make some picks?
Let's do it.
All right, so Thursday night in New Orleans. That should be a nice rowdy one. Jacksonville going west to take on the Saints. Al, why don't you kick us off? What do you got on Thursday night?
Yeah, so this one I think opened at 3 points and it's dropped down to 1. New Orleans is favored by 1. I am going to lay that point with the Saints. There is a caveat here though. Trevor Lawrence, I guess, sort of sprained his knee in this last game, and it seems like he's more likely than not that he'll play, but it's a little bit of a toss-up with the short turnaround. If he's out, for sure, bet this. I would say bet it now, and if he ends up starting, see if you can cash out and like lose the big on it. I don't even know if I do. I might just still let it ride, but I like it a lot more if Trevor Lawrence is out.
He practiced in a brace today. I expect him to play, but either way, I like the Thursday night under.
Yeah. I do think the Saints offense is looking a little bit better, and they have a really good defense. So I think the Falcons or the Jags could be in trouble.
It's Thursday
Falcons
night.
also in trouble, but yeah.
It's Thursday night. You know what to do. Smack that under, baby. Under 40. Everything about Trevor Lawrence makes me feel better about an under 40. Let's let it ride.
Nice. So that's Matt and Danny both on that under 40.
I'm just following Matt underneath everything he's doing right now.
You pretty much are, yeah.
He's a good one to follow. You in 5-1. All right, and our London games are over for the year. That's sad. No more 9:30 a.m. London games. But in 2.5 weeks, we get Germany games, so that'll be fun. But for now, you guys spend Sunday morning with your families. And then at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, we're kicking off with the Raiders going into.
No, you don't. No, you don't. There's Premier League this week. You do not have to hang out with your family.
Nope. As long as you mow the lawn at 3:30, I think we determined.
As long as you got your 3:30.
Nice. So we got the Raiders going to the Windy City, taking on the Bears. Al, you got a pick here?
Yeah, sort of. I just realized that Justin Fields is probably going to be out for this game, so I like this a lot less. But it's Bears +3 at home. The Raiders are really bad. I mean, obviously the Bears are very bad, but without Justin Fields, it's I almost might take this off, but I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna leave it. Bears +3.
Who's going to be the quarterback for the Bears if Justin Fields doesn't play?
Apparently, it looks like Tyson Bagent.
Who?
And if not him, then our old dear friend Nathan Peterman.
Oh boy! If you guys are Prize Picks fans, picks over interceptions over for Nathan Peterman. Whatever that other name was, I don't even know what that was.
Tyson Bagent, that is their second stringer. That's who came in to replace Fields. But I mean, he's doubtful.
He went to
looks
Shepherd
doubtful
College,
right now.
Matto. You don't remember Tyson Bagent's stint at Shepherd College?
I don't.
Yeah,
He's a weird looking dude.
He grew up in Martinsburg, West Virginia. He went to Martinsburg High School. You don't remember any of this?
He's 6'3". Come on, nothing ringing a bell?
No.
Tyson Bagent is not in your vocabulary.
Is it Bagent or Bagant?
It's Bagent, and I only know that because I heard Scott, what's his face, say it on Red Zone last week.
Hanson.
Scott Handsome.
Yeah. So Matto, Tyson Bagent. What do you think? He's a black guy or a white guy?
I was
going to ask that.
I saw Tyson Bagent. I looked him up already because I was curious about this character, and he's a very odd-looking white dude.
He is, yeah. But Tyson,
he's got a weird little egg head.
Tyson's a rare white guy name, right?
Yeah.
It's an English white guy name.
Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
That's the only one I got. So, yeah,
I can't think of it.
Wait, Tyson Fury's white?
Yeah. I hope so. I hope I didn't just like.
And he's a good dad.
Great dad.
He might just be white.
Wait, that was racist, Andy.
I'm not
bringing up being a good dad.
No.
We're talking race.
No.
He's the rare professional athlete with like a belly on him. Like.
Yeah, no, I know what you were doing there. I'm just.
You're right.
Yeah, that's wow.
Right.
Andy got canceled.
I'm glad you're hosting today. Let's go, Andy. Let's see where we go next.
Yeah, let's go on to Cleveland. 1 p.m. The Browns are playing the Colts, the Anthony Richardson-less Colts.
We're on to Cleveland.
Is Anthony Richardson a good dad?
We're on to Cleveland.
I'm not going to answer that. Thank you, Al. Al, why don't you kick us off? I know you've been kicking us off a lot, but the rest of us are fighting here. So Al, you take this one first, and then we'll fight.
Yeah, I'm taking Colts in the points. Colts plus 2.5 at home. It's a stinky line. Browns just beat the Niners. Everyone's gonna be high on the Browns. Colts are gonna sneak away and probably win this one at home.
Yeah, so I'm sort of on that with you, Al. I'm taking a teaser, add 6 points to that. I saw it at 2, so up to 8. But if you can get 2.5, even better. You're going to take that up to 8.5. And then I'm also on the over. I don't think Gardner Minshew's a big drop off, especially with the full week to prepare. And I think these two teams can combine for 39 points. So
the other thing too you mentioned, that's actually a good point. So Minshew had 4 turnovers against the Jags, and I think he realized that pretty much cost them the game. He's not that turnover prone career, like history wise. So I think he maybe takes that as a moment to tighten the reins on his
he's also not that touchdown prone.
He is not that touchdown
prone. That was kind of a tongue twister.
It is
touchdown prone.
I wanted to well, Matt can tell you his pick, and then
I'm gonna go under 39 as long as it stays above 38. I do think it's probably worthwhile to take the under here. Both teams, Cleveland's had a really good defense. And if PJ Walker is still the starting quarterback in Cleveland, I feel really good about keeping that number low. Gardner Minshew is going to Gardner Minshew. He may put up 20. He may put up 4. I have no idea what he's going to actually do in the game, but I feel like it's a really good opportunity for this game to end up 21-17.
I love Matt's pick, but and I had this tentatively on the board, and then I remembered. Fuck Deshaun Watson. I'm not betting on his games.
Oh yes. It's a structured not play.
Good call. Yeah. All right. Still in the 1 o'clock window. We got a division rival, Bills going into the Patriots. Patriots have been bad, which is so much fun to see. You love to see it. Al, what do you got here?
I would love to see if someone could like pull the numbers and figure out if historically, if like this year we're on a historic pace to cover big spreads. I'm laying the 8.5 of Buffalo and like not thinking twice about it. Buffalo was kind of shell-shocked by the Giants and didn't really produce offensively against them. They're going to be ready to come out against the Patriots, who legitimately stink. Like, you could smell them from wherever you're listening from. You could probably smell the Patriots. Like, they got the stink lines coming off them. They're super bad. I fade them all year. Just keep fading them.
Al,
I'm not betting on the Patriots.
If you worked on a quote unquote real podcast, you'd be impossible to produce. You'd just be like, I would love somebody if they just pulled the stats on like how well
No, but like typically
how
you
well spreads are doing if they're more than 8.5 points for this season compared to historical seasons. And then like
Yeah.
your producer's just gonna like do it on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, you could just make it up and be like, it's never been done.
In your defense, Al, this is a line I would normally bet, right? You have a team that doesn't seem like they have any business, but they're at home. The line is more than a touchdown, but the Patriots have the stink lines coming off of them. So, as you said, I just can't do it. I can't pull the trigger here. But I do like the Buffalo side. It makes the most sense.
Yeah.
All right. The next two are mine. They're both teasers. We've got the Commies going in to play the Giants in the Meadowlands, sometimes called the Big House, I'm told. And then the Falcons going in to play in Tampa Bay, the Big Pirate Ship.
Big house.
Yeah.
It's a big house. It's a big
Oh,
house.
the Big House. The Big House. I'm sorry. I'm taking the Giants +2 and Atlanta +2.5. I'm putting both into 6-point teasers. That'll take the Giants up to +8 and Atlanta up to +8.5. Teasers have been really, really good for us this year. I think there was one bad week, but every other week has been incredible, including this past week. So
teasers are cheating.
they are, but
yeah.
it spends the same.
It's just printing money. You just hate it. I hate to see it.
It's. I mean,
I hate
if you could cheat in gambling, cheat. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I'm not giving them out on this. You guys should do it.
Danny's doing the honorable thing.
Yeah.
The honorable thing, losing.
All right. And then we've got Al's Detroit Lions going into Baltimore to play the Fighting Harbaughs. Matt, why don't you finish up the 1 o'clock window for us?
Yeah, I love this play. I love Detroit here. I think it's a really good opportunity. I know everyone's going to be afraid in Baltimore. The good situation is this is likely to be, as far as outcomes, I could see this being me drawing my money back. So if Detroit loses by 3, I draw my money back. But I think there's more likely that they either lose by less or win than lose by more than 3. I could see this game being a 10-point spread and Lamar doing something, a 10-point margin, and Lamar doing something incredible to get the game close again. But I love it. Detroit, take the points, take the 3.
I feel a really good teaser spot, even though it's not technically.
Oh, I love it as a teaser spot. It's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, the numbers have gotten a little wonky since they changed the extra point rule, right? So I don't know that anybody, I'm sure people have, but I don't know exactly how the math has changed. So that might be a good bet. Matt, just while you were talking, I think you talked me into it. I'm not going to lock it up for the pod just because I don't want to ride your coattails, but I really like that. The more you talk, the more I think I'm going to bet that for myself.
The more likely they're going to win by 30 in Baltimore, but I feel like it is the right spot. It's the right attack spot. Detroit's been better too, like just out and out better than Baltimore this year. So I like the
Baltimore's defense is uniquely in a position where they could take advantage of Goff's like small mistakes. They will take more advantage of Goff's small mistakes and win this game by 10 points.
Oh, okay.
That's my opinion.
They're the only thing that's kind of noteworthy about this is that the Lions should be getting a couple of players back this week, namely Brian Branch, who is going to be their starting nickel. He's phenomenal in run defense and obviously in coverage. And then also Jahmyr Gibbs should be back this week. He hasn't exactly lit the world on fire on the ground, but he's a weapon in the passing game. So, yeah, I think that could be a big enough boost to get Detroit to cover here.
So I'll correct me if I'm wrong, but Detroit's strengths this year have been an opportunistic defense Jared Goff's gambling play has paid off this year. He's usually very conservative, but he makes a lot of mistakes. Actually, I shouldn't say gambling play. He's very conservative, and his mistakes haven't cost you this year at all, really. And then your running game has been fantastic, right? St. Brown's been freaking awesome.
So the Lions' defense has just been really good. Really good at stopping the run.
Opportunistic defense, yeah.
And pretty good in pass defense. And then Jared Goff hasn't really made mistakes. He's thrown a couple of,
He has.
I think,
He's
3 interceptions.
He's thrown interceptable balls. They just haven't been caught.
Yeah. I saw a stat today. It was like over the Lions' last 17 games, they're like 13-4, and he's thrown for 4,500 yards, like 29 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, or 33 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So it's like he's playing really well.
The other thing he does well, specifically since he got to the Lions, is like when he makes a terrible throw, it's like in the right direction. So he'll like overthrow his running back terribly, but then there's no linebacker standing behind him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been really good.
He's making calculated gambles. I saw a stat today that said Danny should drink his beer. I saw that stat. So
nice. That's my favorite stat.
It's a good one, right?
Comes on the ChuggieBet Kyron. Breaking news: Danny chugs beer.
Sorry, I was looking for an opportunity to pepper something in there. It's presented.
It's beautiful, beautiful. All right, so that takes us into 4 o'clock. The witching hour is over, and the Steelers are heading out west to play the Rams. I'm gonna kick this off with my pick, and then I'm gonna throw it over to Danny. I don't know if you've watched these two teams recently, but there is nothing about the Steelers that says offense to me. You got Kenny Pickett, you got Matt Canada. There's just no offense there. And then the Rams, I had their under this past week playing Arizona, and I never had to sweat it for a second. These two teams are not putting up big scores right now, so I'm taking the under 43.5. Danny, what do you got on this one?
First, drink a beer. Because
Happily.
there's 3 people who have to talk about this game, and you have time.
Yep.
Second, I love me some Matt Stafford, and he has not been treating me fantastically this season. I think I'm about 500 betting on him. But with only laying 3 points against a terrible team like Tomlin is going to be over 500. This is one of the games that will not get him over 500 for the season. Like, he's got to go west. Pickett sucks. He sucks on the road. He just doesn't have an offense that can compete with the Rams offense. He's like, Pickett's not good under pressure. There's just like everything that happens for his offense. Like, it just the everything is going to collide to make them not be good. So I love your under because I'm not so sure that the Rams offense is going to click this week, but it's going to click eventually.
Yeah, I'm also laying 3 with the Rams. There's a couple reasons. Are you guys familiar with a little beautiful, charming young man named Cooper Kupp?
He is charming.
He's back.
He's he back. I think he went to the tune of like 10 for 150 or something last week. I don't know what it was.
Didn't he get hurt again though?
No,
I hope not.
Not for the game.
That sounds bad.
I would hate that.
I'm gonna look up his stats though. But
7 for 148. 7 for 148.
That's fucking outrageous.
It only took him 7. So he probably had the same amount of points as that guy in our fantasy league that had 11 catches for 117 yards. Anyway.
But yeah, I think the Rams are slept on a bit. I also think that I acknowledge that the Steelers have probably a top 3 defense in the league almost right now. Like, they have a phenomenal defense. And there is the potential that the Steelers offense just goes riot, mutiny on the bounty, and like Kenny Pickett goes wild and just starts calling his own plays.
Man, I'm here for that. That would be fucking great.
You know, if that's what it takes for me to lose this bet, then I'm going to enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think you guys did a beautiful job explaining it. Outside of the game, it may be a home game for Pittsburgh because the Rams fans represent so poorly, and there will be a lot of terrible towels in the crowd. I think the Rams laying the 3 is the obvious play here. So I'm with you.
Pittsburgh travels well, and especially to warm weather
Oh,
when
yeah.
it's cold. And it's starting to get cold. I mean, here in Florida,
cold
it's a little
here.
chilly. It's a
It
little
was in like
chilly
the
in Florida.
60s this morning.
I guarantee it's still
Unbelievable.
like shorts weather in Pittsburgh because it's still above freezing.
Yeah, that's true. But they still do like to travel to the tropical areas, and their fans are like the best when they travel to your stadium. They're like the most fun fans to like be around. It's not like when Philly travels to your stadium and they're just a bunch of assholes.
Same state, two different types of people. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like it's a world apart.
Just
Give me
a
all the
different
pictures.
level, a different type of family raised you. Like one is like they're polite and generous, and the other is just like rude and mean.
Took a shit on the floor and made you clean it up.
Yeah. In one city you had a bedroom, in the
It's
other
always
city
sunny. Was that his Always Sunny reference?
No,
Matt?
that was just something that came to my head.
It's
I was about
literally
to-
happened, and it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
I was about to make an Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference. Have you seen the one where Charlie can't believe that Philadelphia and Pittsburgh are both in the same state? He's like, two cities in one state? How does that happen? That can't happen. It's very funny. Go look it up.
There's literally an episode called "Who Pooped the Bed" where Frank poops on the floor and makes somebody else clean it up at the end, and he goes, "I just did one on the floor right now while we were wrapping up." It's
I haven't
hilarious.
seen that one. No, that's
It's one of my favorite episodes.
It is.
happy accident.
Yeah, good job.
Lay them with the Rams.
Lay the Rams. The Rams scored 26 last week. I actually am going to take that back. I think the Rams offense is clicking, and they're just going to crush the Steelers.
26 against a very bad Cardinals defense.
A very bad Cardinals defense that's just shut the Cowboys out.
You know, that's
that was a
pretty
fluke.
good segue though.
Yes.
Let's talk about that Cardinals team.
That great Cardinals defense will be traveling up to play the Fighting Geno Smiths in the Big House. Matt, why
That
don't
was
you kick
bad.
us off here?
Everybody knows about the big house in Seattle where the 12th man stands up and they raise that big M in the crowd. Now, yeah, I like Seattle here. I don't like them to the tune of 8, right? Because Arizona can fuck around and make things weird, we've learned this year. But I also don't think Arizona is good away from the big house in Phoenix. So I think the play here is Seattle tease it down to 2. I think they'll win by a field goal or more. I'm not sure if they win by 8.
Yep, I'm on this with you. Also teasing Seattle down. I bet against Geno Smith all year last year, and it kept biting me. This year I'm going to bet on him, and hopefully that doesn't come back and
Hopefully
bite
break
me.
even.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone well so far, the betting on Geno,
It has
but
not.
I got to say that Geno last week, he threw for over 300 yards, but the two interceptions really bit him in the ass. Like they should have just like kept
Bit him in the
Joe
jaw.
Burrow in his little fucking
The
kept Joe
interceptions
Burrow in
bit
his little modeling contract instead of back playing football. But all he had to do was throw touchdowns instead of interceptions, and they would have crushed him. Geno's better than him.
That's a bold statement.
That's spicy.
All right, so 425.
He played better, man. He played better than him. He just made a couple of like whatever.
Yeah, I agree. If you take out the bad plays, he was definitely better than Burrow.
He had a good game if you take them out.
Yeah.
You're making it seem so like
I know.
cut and dry. It was a
I mean-
17-13 game, so like obviously the offenses weren't what
Yeah.
dominated the game.
Yes.
All right, then we've got
Joe Burrow
Jordan-
threw for 185 yards. Geno Smith threw for like 330. It was like, come on.
Yeah, but which one has DK Metcalf?
Are we,
The other one has Jamar Chase, bro.
I was like, that's a real
I know.
bad point you're making,
I-
buddy.
And Boyd. Like, oh.
All right, Jordan Love, Danger Russ, in Denver at 425.
That's the big house.
And the
At
big
the
house in the
in
sky.
Denver, the Mile High Big House. Danny, what do you got for us?
I'm basically just fading Denver at this point. Their defense is just atrocious. I don't think Jordan Love is like really good, but like he's fine, and that basically means he's going to throw for 350 and 3 touchdowns against Denver.
I know they're really bad on DVOA, right? But how much is that specific to that Dolphins game, right? Like if you lose by 50, like that, you can have a bad day like that, and that's got to throw off the math pretty substantially 6 games in, right? Am I crazy here?
I don't know how they calculate DVOA.
It's
Some of
supposed
those.
to be like adjusted by
Okay.
quality of opponent, but still, yeah, that score's got to have some bearing on it.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the play here. I would lay the point with Packers, but I just don't like it enough to make it a chuggy bet.
Yeah. I'm just hoping the line doesn't move to like 1.5 or 2, because then I'm gonna have to tease Denver, and that feels gross.
It feels bad, man.
It does. All right. Then last afternoon game of Sunday, the Los Angeles Chargers going to play at the Arrowhead Big House. Kansas City Chiefs. Al, what do you got?
Yeah, well, I also will say, don't be afraid to tease the Broncos because they covered outright against the Chiefs. Was it last week or the week before? So stranger things have happened. But actually, speaking of Chiefs, the Chargers are at the Chiefs here. I'm going to take the Chargers plus 5.5. If there's anything the Chargers are good at, it's losing by a field goal. So that feels good. Getting a 2.5 extra points here.
Dude, so think about this, right? Everyone made the same joke when Phillip Rivers was around. He was always 80 yards away with no timeouts in 45 seconds.
It's a good joke.
Justin Herbert's on that shit. So is it the quarterbacks they draft, or is it the color of the jersey? Because it's not the city. It's not San Diego. It's clearly it travels over to any part of California.
I think the answer is more boring than that. I think the answer is it's the defense.
Yeah, that is boring.
That is
I wish I had a chuggy to give you. I wish I could give you a chuggy.
I'll give you a chuggy right now.
I'm gonna give it to myself.
For ruining my
I already gave mine to Andy, but I have 2 from college, so I'll chug a beer.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's Phil Rivers. He's Phil Rivers, is my point. Yeah,
So, yeah, you're right, Matt. They changed the coach. They changed the quarterback. They changed the city. I think the only 2 things left to change are the jerseys or the name Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Like, what else do you have to change?
I don't know. Thank you, Andy. Thank you for playing this game appropriately and not
You're
being a dick.
What would be a fun color scheme change for the Chargers?
Chargers have the best jerseys.
You can't get rid of those lightning bolts. You got to leave the jerseys the same and just call them something else, like the electricians.
They should get
The
sponsored by like
Sparkies. The LA Sparkies.
Apple. They should get sponsored by Apple, and they'll just have like the
Leave it the
lightning
same
port on the
No,
helmet.
leave it the same.
Oh,
Leave it the
all
same
white.
with the lightning bolt.
The
All white.
Chargers, like a like a bundled up cord on the side of the helmet.
White helmet, white jersey, white pants.
USB port on the side.
the cord's
of the helmet.
constantly changing.
Lightning
every
cable,
year.
Andy. You're clearly a Android user. It's not a USB port. It's a lightning
Apple
cable.
is changing to USB, my friend. Get with
Yeah.
the times.
They change
All
their protocol every year. Next year it'll be back to Lightning because they're the worst. They're the worst.
Yes, we are.
If
We are
only
the
there
worst.
was another option, guys. Moving
Al,
on.
Andy, I
learn
couldn't
how to
agree
hit the
more.
mute button when you burp, man. The listener hates it.
Yeah, sorry. It's always me.
The listener got a girlfriend and stopped listening. So
That's why download numbers are so low.
it is.
And they've literally
Wait,
dropped.
Joey's cheating on Lexi?
No, it's a different listener that complained about the burping.
Oh,
And he got a girlfriend and stopped listening because he's got more important
Yeah.
things to do now.
Good
don't
for
blame
him.
him.
Yeah.
Sports
him.
betting is
Little-
something
little
he will
bit of the
come
old
back
in
to
and
once
out.
they're married.
Exactly. All right. So Sunday night football, the game that we will all be waiting for this week. Sorry, Al, is your division leader, Miami Dolphins, going in to take on the just lost to the dirty, stinking New York Jets, Philadelphia Eagles, in the Big House. Al, what do you got for us there?
Yeah, I'm gonna lay the 2 with the Eagles.
Boo.
They're tough to beat in the Big House, man.
Anybody have any batteries to throw at him?
I would love for you to just be in one of those like medieval times tomato stands where I could throw a tomato at you right now. It would
That's
just
okay.
be the best.
Hopefully, I win all my other bets, and I'll be happy to lose that one.
Danny, tell him why he's wrong.
Tua Tagovailoa.
All right. I thought maybe you go with Tyreek Hill, but that works too.
Sorry, I could have said more names.
Mostert.
The backflip was staged, right?
Yeah,
It
for
had
sure.
to be staged. They had to know it was coming. He
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
grab a random phone,
The
right?
dude was recording the whole time. It's like
Oh, that
sitting
could
there
just
recording
be
every play.
cool, but yeah,
No, the
maybe.
dude was already ready to be like faking like he was taking the picture. He knew what stance he was gonna do. It was staged.
Well, Tyreek has a guy that follows him around, like a full-time video guy that like follows him around everywhere and takes videos. Like it could have been that guy. He just stood in whichever end zone the Dolphins were, moving
I
towards.
don't
each
think it was
quarter
his
and-
video guy, but I do think that they like had a fan come out and do it.
That's so awesome.
You know
He's
Tyreek-
so great at that.
Dolphin social
Hold on,
media.
you are aware that remember the guy who took Tyreek's ball when he was trying to give it to his mom?
Mhm.
You know he met up with that guy and gave him a signed ball, right?
I assumed he would. I didn't actually follow up on it.
And then they have video of him putting it on social media of like him meeting up and that guy being like, "Oh man, you're the best. If I had known that was your mom," and it was like a huge thing. That guy still seems like a douche.
The one where you pushed him down the stairs. So sorry. It's not funny. God damn it, Al.
No,
All right.
no.
45
Al.
minutes in. That's where I'm going to do some editing.
Al.
All right, I'm taking Miami and teasing them here. I think Miami wins outright, but just to give myself a little bit more cushion, emotionally, really, I'm taking it from 2 to +8, and that'll be the final teaser for me for the week.
Yeah.
Sure.
Matt, you're the only one without a play there. You want to add anything?
Yeah, I if I had to guess, I would say Philadelphia probably wins the game, and I don't want to do that. That seems like it sucks. So I want to. I think Philadelphia is really good. And like if there's one thing the Dolphins haven't shown the ability to do is stop a lot on defense, right? They're opportunistic defensively, right? They kind of play like we're gonna bum rush you a lot, and it's gonna work a lot, but it doesn't work enough to keep points off the board. And there's also some value to them scoring more points. They give up more points because their possessions
always
are
value
good.
to scoring more points.
No, I'm saying like they score so fast that they give up more points because the other team has more possessions, right? It's kind of there's value to that. But I also don't love the defensive stance, and I think Philadelphia is pretty good on defense, right? I think Philadelphia is a more balanced.
Vic Fangio or whatever is definitely agreeing with you right now that like they score too fast. That's why I'm giving up so many points.
But you know what I mean, right? Like the math plays out. If you have more possessions, the other team's going to score more.
No, I even agree with you, Matt. But what I'm saying is that I'm taking Miami because I feel like at some point Tua's going to at least like at one point in his life be better than Jalen Hurts again. He was better on one throw, and at some point again, because he hasn't since that throw, he's been worse, right? Since that throw, he's been worse than Jalen Hurts. Clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
At
think
some point since then, he's going to be better again. So I'm going to say he's going to be better again here.
Matt, can I interest you in an Eagles prop bet of some sort?
Let me hear.
No, I mean, I would like for you to, like, if you were to place a bet on this game, because you were talking about not wanting to bet on the Eagles, but the Dolphins defense is trash. So maybe like a Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown.
I was just thinking that, or rushing yards over.
Jalen Hurts anytime TD. I'm in on. I'll
or even Jalen
right
Hurts first TD.
Yeah,
dude, I'm not gonna put a plus 900 on our like we're only doing like we win or we lose bets.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would assume Jalen Hurts plus like the first
to score
TD is gonna be like plus 200.
Tyreek Hill's gonna have the best odds for first score.
This is going to be a good one. I will prize picks it with Nathan Peterman over whatever the interception number is, and then I'll just have Jalen Hurts over the touchdowns, like over half a yard.
What happens if someone doesn't
do you know how
play?
do you know how nervous Philly is for this game? They signed fucking Atlanta's receiver who's awesome.
Julio Jones.
They signed Julio Jones to try and compete with us. They don't know what to do right now. They're like
they're gonna trade for Chase Claypool.
Dude, I'm not worried about the Dolphins.
If they trade for Chase Claypool, it's gonna go bad. Do you notice that he hasn't had one snap?
He hasn't been active.
And he won't be, because what we did, the best thing you could do if you have Chase Claypool, Mike McDaniel knows if you have Chase Claypool, you're good as long as he's not active.
You just put him in he's in a Flanagan somewhere.
Chase Claypool over on the side, that's good luck.
Yeah.
He's out of Flanagan's. Exactly, Andy. He's out of Flanagan's eating rock and rib rolls during the game. No, I'm
going to Flanagan's for lunch tomorrow to get a rock and rib bowl out. Now that
Oh
you said
yeah,
that.
you are.
Hell
Because
yeah.
you're a good damn
And a pitcher
American.
of beer.
Danny, let me know what time you go.
It's gonna be on the Commercial Boulevard one.
Let me know too,
That's
but
supposed to
just so I can imagine I'm
That's-
there.
Yeah, it's pretty
12:30.
Are you guys a little bit concerned that Philadelphia has a pretty good defense? And when we played Buffalo at Buffalo, we kind of got pushed around. Like it was a tough situation second quarter.
It was cold. It's like
What the
90
hell does
degrees
that
here.
mean?
It wasn't
It's
cold.
90 degrees here.
It's in Philadelphia at night, bud.
Yeah,
and it's
but we're cold
colder.
here now, so we're used to it.
It's one of the worst takes I've ever heard.
That is
That is an awful take.
I actually can't even
really
defend
bad.
my own take at that point.
I wish I could give you a beer. I'm going to chug a beer. Someone
You know what?
make me
You know
chug
what?
a beer.
Give me the beer. Give it to me.
Everyone
Just give it
chug
to
a
me.
beer.
Somebody give it. You know what? I had 2 beers from college that I didn't give out. I'm gonna give myself chugging a beer.
I know we've already talked about the Dolphins a ton, and so we'll move on in a second. But just real quick, can I put my tinfoil hat on? And do you guys think there's any chance that sometime last week McDaniel hit his vape and he looked over at Vic and he said, "We're 14-point favorites, right?" And Vic's like, "Yeah, why?" And McDaniel was like, "Give him 14 points. Like the first 2 drives, just let him go down and score, and then we'll play from there, right? We'll see who's the better team once they're up 14." And that's what happened to the Dolphins last week. That's why we went down 14-0. That's my tinfoil hat.
I don't think that at all. This guy gets paid for a living, right? His job is
If that's the case,
Yeah.
he's gone from being a Madden fan to being a delusional Madden.
He's a
like, he
gambler,
thinks he's in
legitimately a
Madden.
gambler.
We won by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I need him to start drinking again.
Technically, you won by 5 touchdowns, Andy.
That's true. All right, so nobody buys mine.
No.
It would have
Not
been
at
4
all.
touchdowns if
That's
Mike
that's up there with
No,
Miami
because I
Weather.
think Mike McDaniel's a good coach, and that would be super dumb.
Also, can you imagine being a Jets fan and thinking that like Mike White is the best quarterback you've had in years, and Mike White did not look good. Anyway, Monday Night Football. San Fran coming off their first loss of the season, going in to play the Minnesota Vikings, coming off a big win over the Bears. Al, why don't you kick us off on that one?
Yeah, San Fran -7, back to reality.
So I'm with Al on this, mostly because Kirk Cousins doesn't get to play in his 3:00 window.
Yeah, primetime Kirk is.
Ooh, it's trouble.
It's San Fran's been like great, except last week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over in this one. I know San Fran's offense did not look good last week, but I think they'll get back on track here and high-scoring, fun Monday night game. Who says no to that? So over 44.
Yeah, I'm going to tease San Francisco. I'm going to tease them down to 1. San Francisco's played really well in primetime games over the last couple years. The Dallas game is a perfect example. People put a lot of hype into these games, and then San Francisco goes and flaunts and crushes Dallas or crushes Green Bay or crushes any team that they play with. This is on the road, so it's a little trickier, but I like San Francisco to win. So let's just lay the 1, and I'll partner that with my Seattle bet earlier.
Before we sign off, guys, I just want to be clear. As much as I talk shit about you guys betting these teasers, I basically round robin every NFL teaser every week. It's the only way I can afford to lose so much money on college football.
Not this week, my friend.
That's right.
Now
I
you're
did great
rich.
this week.
All right. Anybody have any final thoughts before we sign it off?
Let's do our Chuggy bets. Chuggy
Oh,
bet.
good call. Thank you. Who's got theirs ready?
Yeah, I'll just get mine out of the way. Philly -2. Sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Shady.
I'm gonna go with the Packers because nobody's gonna go against me on that. So it feels right.
Okay.
Also, I love betting against Mr. Unlimited.
I don't like doing the teaser, even though I feel like my teaser is a virtual lock.
It is a lock, but you should just go with it.
I'm going to do the Rams. I'm going to lay the 3 with the Rams. No, fuck that.
No. Dude, this is the only thing on the line here is telling me to chug a beer. Just fucking do it.
No, I'm not doing it with the teaser. Let's do the Lions. Come on, Lions. Let's go win a game.
I love that.
And then I am going to do the
I don't like the Lions pick.
under 43.5 in Steelers at Rams.
I really feel like the bet your mortgage teaser of the week is like Seattle, Detroit.
Yeah, I love Detroit on a teaser, right? Like bring it up to 9.
Yeah. Detroit +9 and Seattle -2.
That's actually pretty lucky. It feels
Yeah.
really lucky. And you
Baltimore,
better get that Seattle before it goes to 3 because I feel like that line's going to move. But
that number is really nice at 8 going down to 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate all of you. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. We do plan to put out some TikTok and Instagram content this week, so go follow us there if you haven't already.
I don't plan to.
Good night, Joey.
Good night, Matt. Good night, Stu.
Good night, Kent.
Good night, everybody.